everyone. It is the week of WrestleMania 34, and we've got a big weekend up ahead. It's WrestleMania weekend, and there are a bunch of shows for us to check out. So it's a huge weekend for fans. It's a huge weekend for anyone in the business. It is our Super Bowl. It is our Oscar season, what have you. It's a really exciting weekend up ahead. There's a lot of stuff to check out, and I'm really pumped for it. So in honor of that, I have a massive video in store for you here. Please forgive the glasses, but there is so much material for me to cover that I took notes just to make sure I didn't forget anything, and will not be wearing the sunglasses, need the reading glasses to read. So I'm going to make sure I get through each and everything in previewing all the stuff that I plan on watching this weekend. Also, forgive the ice pack that I'm wearing. About an hour ago, I suffered a weightlifting-related injury, and I need to put ice on my arm. So ignore the white poofiness over here. So, before I even start previewing anything that's happening this weekend, I've got a bunch of stuff to get out of the way. Namely, WrestleMania MVP, LVP Finals will be happening here, the final part of that. A mini review of Sakura Genesis, which happened on April 1st. I definitely want to talk about that. And my top 10 matches for the month of March 2018. So you may get sick of me by the time this video is over, because I'm anticipating this one to go pretty long. But with all that said, let's just go ahead and get started. First of all, my live stream on Saturday. Said I am going to be doing a live stream on Saturday for WrestleMania weekend, but it will not be Clash of Champions and Saturday night's main event like I'd been doing. And it's not going to be one of the shows. I'm not going to be live streaming myself watching one of the shows. What am I going to be doing? Well, I gave the hint that it has something to do with WrestleMania, but it's also going to be nostalgic. It's going to be something old school. I'm going to be live streaming all 5 episodes of the main event, the WWF's classic NBC Friday night special, which was in prime time and really served a major purpose in establishing the upcoming WrestleManias that those shows were leading into. WrestleManias 4, 5, 6, and 7 were all impacted by the main event Friday night specials. So I thought it'd be fun to go back, take a look, and watch those events. 1 and 2 in particular are going to be a lot of fun to rewatch, because those are 2 of my favorites. But all 5 of them are going to be viewed by me and live streamed by me on Saturday. So join me for that. You get to watch me react to some of that old stuff that I watched as a kid. So if you enjoyed the Saturday night's main event and Clash of Champions streams, you'll probably enjoy this as well. So be on the lookout for that. My plan is to start streaming at 10 o'clock to 10:30 a.m. That'll be the starting point. Will be somewhere around then, and then we're just going to watch all 5 specials and just get it over with. So it's going to be fun. I wish the network had them broken off separately from the Saturday night's main events, but they don't. I don't know why that is. I guess because they're so similar, but it's still like, come on, guys. Just make this a little easier on me so I don't have to know the exact dates and actually look at the thumbnails that you put on each video. So, so all that's going to be going down. And with that, we can just go ahead and jump into the real meat and potatoes of the video. Let's start with the top 10 matches for the month of March 2018. I'm going to give Brand of the Month to New Japan Pro Wrestling. They practically dominated March in my eyes. They had a lot of big shows, from their US special, Strong Style Evolved, the 46th anniversary show, which was big, the New Japan Cup tournament, and all of it was building into Sakura Genesis, which happened on April 1st, this past weekend. So a lot of big stuff going on in New Japan this month, and I thought they, in a way, over-delivered. There was just almost too much content to keep track of, but most of it was very, very good. So this top 10 list is going to be dominated by New Japan. So with that, let's just go ahead and get started. Number 10, Will Ospreay versus Jushin Thunder Liger from Strong Style Evolved. It was supposed to be Liger versus Mysterio. We didn't get that, but this was a solid replacement. I'm not going to say it was like a legendary match or a classic match, but it was cool to see Ospreay get a win over Liger, and it was cool to get to see them interact. So not a classic match by any means, and but as a plan B to what they had initially planned as one of their major attractions for the event, I thought it was pretty solid. Number 9, AJ Styles defending the WWE Championship against Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, and Baron Corbin in a 6-pack challenge at Fastlane. This was the main event to Fastlane. It was one of the few matches at Fastlane I enjoyed. Probably the only one. I'm trying to remember what else was on that show that I liked. There wasn't much, but I thought the main event, all they had to do was keep the belt on AJ, and I was going to be okay with it. They did. I was like, all right, I'm fine with it. And the match had some pretty good action in it as well, and some good interactions between the stars that they had picked to be in this thing. So it was fun for what it was. Not a classic main event or anything. Fairly typical for multi-man matches. But Rock Guy went over, and so they didn't fuck anything up. Except maybe make Shane McMahon look like a heel, as he pretty much caused Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens the title. But as is, it's just a perfectly fun, action-packed match. So I have no problems there. Number 8, Kazuchika Okada and Tomohiro Ishii versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki from Strong Style Evolved. This was basically a preview match for Sakura Genesis. Zack Sabre Jr. faced Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. This match basically served as a preview for that, and in making Zack Sabre Jr. look dangerous and making Suzuki look dangerous as always, I thought that this match accomplished its goal. I thought it was a really solid tag match and just good work all around by everyone involved. Number 7, Naito versus Tetsuya Naito versus Taichi from New Japan's 46th anniversary show. Basically, just a really good match to showcase Naito. Nothing more, nothing less. He was obviously going to go over. He did go over. Good, solid match. Taichi put in a better performance than I expected. But just a really good, solid match to show off Naito. Number 6, Dalton Castle versus Jay Lethal for the ROH World title from Ring of Honor's 16th anniversary pay-per-view special. Really good main event. The best match I've seen Dalton Castle have up to this point. Really showed that, oh hey, he can work a main event style, because I hadn't really seen that from him up to this point. Granted, he's working with Jay Lethal, who's been Ring of Honor's MVP for the last few years now. But I thought it was a really great match between the two, and Dalton went over, and pretty solid stuff. And now we're going to get to see Dalton defend his title again WrestleMania weekend, so stay tuned for all of that. Number 5, also from the Ring of Honor 16th anniversary special, the Hung Bucks versus SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky for the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles in a Las Vegas street fight. Wild and crazy match. I love the Hung Bucks name, by the way. Adam Page and the Young Bucks. I think that's a really cool name. If you're gonna have 6-man teams, and you're able to come up with cool names, that's a pretty good one. But thought the match was really wild, exciting. The Bucks do well when it's a free-for-all, like a ladder match or a tornado tag or a street fight, something like this, where they can pretty much just cut loose and do whatever they want. Just a really good action-packed match that really provided a lot to this pay-per-view. Number 4, Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay, also from New Japan's 46th anniversary show. Unique pairing, not one I would have expected to see anytime soon, but overall, just a very good match that really showed off Okada in a dominant light, where the match went long, but he pretty much dominated most of the match, and it was nice to see the champ look really, really strong, and there was really no doubt that he was going to go over, but Ospreay did have those nice hope spots in there to kind of put a little bit of doubt in there, but overall, just a nice, strong showcase for Okada, and a very unique pairing. All right, number 3, also from the 46th anniversary of New Japan, Minoru Suzuki versus not Ishii, versus Togi Makabe for the Intercontinental title. This was Makabe's best performance in a long time, long time. When I first started watching New Japan a few years back, I really latched on to Makabe, but he hasn't really had that strong of a performance in the last couple years. I thought this match was great. I thought him and Suzuki meshed very well together. The match had me marking out by the end of it. I thought, oh my God, is Makabe going to win the belt? He didn't, but just a great showcase for two hard-hitting guys that just beat the shit out of each other. So good stuff. Number 2, the best of the New Japan Cup. I'm kind of cheating here, but there was a lot of really good stuff in this tournament. A lot of stuff to enjoy. Sonata was kind of a surprise hit that kind of went through the tournament, made it all the way to the semifinals. Had a really entertaining match with Yano in the second round. There was a lot of really good stuff here. Juice Robinson had a bit of a coming out party. He also made it to the semifinals before losing to Tanahashi. Zack Sabre Jr. had a very dominant performance all the way through, defeating Naito, Ishii, Sonata, and Tanahashi, and that's a pretty good crop of names to defeat on your way to a title shot. So it was like, oh my God, Zack Sabre Jr. looks like the real deal here. Tanahashi made his return for this tournament. and once again put on very solid performances. Had a really good match with Bad Luck Fale in the second round, I believe. There were a lot of really good matches throughout the tournament, and just exciting action all around. And you had the story of Zack Sabre Jr. rising through the ranks and beating all these really big names and ultimately earning the title shot against Okada. So really fun tournament, a lot of fun to follow, and just great stuff. And number one best match of the month of March 2018, the Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks from New Japan Strong Style Evolved. I know I said the match was overrated. I know I said it wasn't this perfect 5-star match like a lot of people were saying it was. But as is, I thought it was a very entertaining main event and very dramatic. I just wish they had actually adhered to the rules of tag team wrestling throughout. But it did have those nice dramatic elements. It was nice to see Kenny Omega put up against the Bucks while he's being built up closer and closer to his eventual showdown with Cody Rhodes. So a lot of good stuff in that match. Even the stuff I didn't like the good stuff kind of outweighed it. So that's my pick for match of the month. And as you can see, New Japan pretty much dominated this month. So they get brand of the month easily, without question. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Now let's wrap up my WrestleMania MVP LVP series, part 11. We've got 3 WrestleManias left to go, and they are WrestleManias 29, which I attended, WrestleMania 18, which happened on St. Patrick's Day, so it also kind of relates to me, and WrestleMania 2000, which doesn't relate to me at all whatsoever. So, so yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into these. WrestleMania 29, MVP, I gotta go with CM Punk. There's no one else that I would even consider. This was Punk's only real show-stealing WrestleMania performance. And when he said in that shoot interview with Colt Cabana that he worked it with a big chip on his shoulder, I believe it. He worked that match with Undertaker like he had a death wish, some of the bumps he took, and very creative too. A lot of the reversals they did. It wasn't just a straight up, oh, hey, let's kick out of each other's finishers for half an hour, like some of Taker's matches that kind of become. This one, there was a little bit more creativity put into it, like Paul Heyman sneaking the urn in and Punk hitting him with it to get it out of the last ride, and that awesome spot where he locked in the Anaconda Vice on Taker, and Taker sat up and like rolled his eyes at him and gave him the death glare. That was awesome visual. I'd love to know who came up with that spot, because it's just a really great visual. Excellent match. Punk's best WrestleMania performance by far, and as it turns out, probably his last WrestleMania performance. But they far and away stole the show, and I'm going to give MVP to CM Punk. Especially considering it was a match that wasn't set up very well, and nobody in their wildest dreams thought Punk was actually going to win. So, in a dramaless situation, Punk was able to make it work and make an exciting match out of it. So good on him. Should have main evented this year. Should have gone into Mania as the champion, but that couldn't happen. Unfortunately. Now, for least valuable player, I had it down to 2 options. I was thinking Jack Swagger, who was put in there against Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight title, a match that was whatever. Alberto just won, so it was just kind of like, okay, what was the point of even doing that match? And Ryback, who we all thought at one time was going to be pushed to the world title, was going to be pushed as a main eventer. And then you get to this show, and he's doing jobs for Mark Henry, soon to be Hall of Famer Mark Henry. And it's like, oh wow, have they just given up on Ryback? Like, what's going on here? I was like dumbfounded when he lost at WrestleMania. I was like, I thought for sure he was going to go over. And at that point, I was like, oh my god, have they just pretty much given up on him? There's the next night on Raw, he turned heel and had that feud with Cena that didn't do him any favors. And then he was pretty much done after that. So, he did have a run as a Paul Heyman guy, but that didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, so Ryback, I think by this point was a failed experiment, and WrestleMania 29 kind of serves as a microcosm of showing that he was a failed experiment. WrestleMania 18, okay, MVP. It's got to be Hulk Hogan. Hollywood Hulk Hogan. There's no other guy. The only other guy I could do is The Rock, who was his opponent. But I think the return of Hulk Hogan generated a lot of intrigue, a lot of excitement within the fan base, and it showed in that crowd. They were super excited to see Hogan and gave him a crowd reaction unlike anything I'd ever seen before. And Hogan and Rock played to it perfectly and gave us a match for the ages. But Hulk Hogan making his WrestleMania return and having a performance like that, one of the most memorable WrestleMania matches of all time, can't deny that Hulk Hogan's the MVP of this show. You just can't. It's just he was an easy pick in my eyes. Now, least valuable player, I hate to do this. I really hate to do this because I like the guy so much, and it really isn't his fault. But least valuable player I'm going to give to Chris Jericho. He had won the Undisputed title, defeating Austin and Rock in the same night back in December, and then beat them both on subsequent pay-per-views. So it was like, all right, so Jericho's going to be the hot champion heading into Mania. The build-up with Triple H was so bad. It made Jericho look like a punk, like he was taking orders from Stephanie, and actually the telltale sign of how they had really fucked this up. Look at the entrances for the main event at WrestleMania 18. When they make their entrances, Jericho points at Stephanie on the entrance ramp, when it should be the other way around. Jericho felt like an interchangeable cog. Anybody could have been carrying the belts heading into this main event. And that's not how you want the champion to feel. You want, especially if you're going to have the babyface beat him, it's like you want him to feel like you toppled somebody great. Like you really beat somebody, or you really made some massive accomplishment by winning the belts. And Jericho was relegated to just the guy carrying the belts. And Stephanie was more the top heel in the situation than he was. And it was unfortunate and poorly booked and a disaster. And Jericho was the one that ultimately got punished for it, because almost immediately afterwards he was, fighting for the IC title. And Triple H was having, he was having world titles basically given to him. He did have a world title given to him after he wound up on Raw, and they were introducing the world title. So, it's unfortunate. I want to give it to Triple H because it's like, dude, you had a hand in creating all of this. I know, because of your position within the company. And so I don't want to be that guy that sounds like, oh, fuck him, he married the boss's daughter, all that. It's like, no. But what I can say is that he has influence over his own creative, and this is the best you can come up with? Really, dude? Okay. It only makes you look bad. So they both went out there and had a lackluster match. Unfortunately, Jericho was the one that suffered the most for it. So, and I didn't mind Triple H winning, because it was like, okay, he makes his return from injury, wins the Rumble, wins the title. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But the way it was done was just so horrible that it didn't help either guy. And like I said, Jericho was the one that got punished for it. And now let's wrap up WrestleMania MVP LVP on a bit of a wet fart here. We're going to end it on WrestleMania 2000. Not one of the grander WrestleManias, but that was the order that was generated for me. So, let's go ahead and do this. MVP, I'm going to give it to Jeff Hardy, who had the highlight moment of the show. The Triangle Ladder match is really the only part of WrestleMania 2000 that's really worth remembering. The three-way with Jericho, Benoit, and Angle is solid, but it's not like a classic. The Triangle Ladder match I consider to be a classic, and I think all 6 of those guys deserve credit. Edge, Christian, the Dudley Boys, Matt Hardy. But Jeff Hardy had the major highlight where he dove off the ladder, which is one of those like classic WrestleMania highlight moments. And it's funny because they keep doing ladder matches at WrestleMania. I don't think they have one on the card this year, which is great. They may turn the SmackDown title match into one, but we'll see. SmackDown tag title match, I should say. But it felt like every ladder match and every multi-man ladder match they've done pretty much since then has felt like a poor imitation. This is like the original, and this one's the classic. So I think Jeff Hardy having that highlight moment really kind of put this match over the top. So I'll give the MVP spot to Jeff Hardy, and everybody else can be like a runner-up MVP. Everybody else that was in that match. Now, who gets least valuable player? I thought about giving it to the McMahon family because I felt like them being in the corners, except for Stephanie, oddly enough. She was the only one that kind of fit. But putting Linda and Mick's corner in the main event, and putting Vince and Rock's corner in the main event, and putting Shane and Big Show's corner all felt forced, and it felt like they just had to have the McMahon family drama in this main event. And it just made the main event feel overly crowded. But we'll call them the runners-up. Also, sidebar, I thought the cat fight, the lone singles match on this card, Terry Runnels versus the Cat, that match was awful, and everyone associated with it deserves like an honorary mention for least valuable player. Everyone from Val Venus as the referee to Moolah and Mae Young being in their corners. Seems popular to beat up on Mae Young these days, doesn't it? Seems like the in thing to do. But I'm going to give least valuable player to the Big Show. And again, I don't like to pick on Big Show. I think he's an unfortunate case where bad booking really kind of shortchanged his career, and he wasn't as big as he could have been. Ironically enough, he wasn't as big as he could have been. It was my understanding that the WrestleMania 2000 main event spot was promised to him because it was supposed to be originally him versus Austin. But then Austin had to take time off with the neck surgery, and plans got changed. Triple H took over as top heel. A bunch of other different things happened. But to fulfill their promise to Big Show, they put him in this match and ended up making it a fatal 4-way. Mick didn't belong in this match either, because to me, like, Triple H beating him and ending his career the month before really gave Triple H the heat he needed to go into WrestleMania as the heel champion. And putting Mick into this match just kind of undid that, at least a little bit. But Big Show was even more pointless, because it's like no one thought Big Show was going to win. So it's like, why is he even here? It should have been Triple H versus Rock one-on-one with Rock going over. Ultimately what they did at Backlash, the next pay-per-view. And Big Show was even more pointless, and they got him out of there pretty quick. I think this main event lasted like half an hour, 40 minutes, and Big Show was out of there within the first 10. So if that's no indicator of how pointless he was to this match, it's just they wanted to get him out of there as quickly as possible. So he was just pointless to the proceedings, and his presence kind of hurt the match. Personally, as I've said before, to me, like, the WrestleMania 2000 card would have looked like, you know, Rock versus Triple H with Foley in Rock's corner, and, like, maybe the McMahons in Triple H's corner, like, do the Vince heel turn before WrestleMania and not give us that groan-worthy ending. Do, like, Big Show versus Rikishi to give us the big man match. Do X-Pac versus Kane to give us a definitive, like, ending to their feud rather than doing a silly tag match. A bunch of things like that. There were a lot of different ways they could have made the Mania card better, but as is, they just overcrowded everything and just made it a bit of a mess, and the main event is indicative of that, and Big Show did not belong in the main event at all. Again, not knocking him, it's just the truth of the matter. But that concludes my WrestleMania MVP LVP series. I made it. We did it. Okay, that's another WrestleMania series for me in the books. So, with all of that done, I now have to do a mini review of New Japan Sakura Genesis 2018. Something I do want to talk about before I start previewing a bunch of stuff. I do want to do this quick review of Sakura Genesis 2018. To sum it up, the undercard is basically just a bunch of tag matches. There's a 3-way tag for the IWGP Junior Tag titles, but nothing really stands out. The undercard is extremely skippable, and you can skip pretty much the first... How many matches? See, I've already forgotten how many matches there were. I guess the first 6 or 7 matches. But the last 3 matches are incredible and definitely worth going out of your way to check out. You had Will Ospreay defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against his nemesis, the guy who's always beaten him in singles bouts, Marty Scurll. Excellent fucking match. There was so much good stuff here. That spot they did where they were skinning the cat and Marty turned it into a tombstone to the outside of the ring, and, you know, Ospreay got busted open at one point, and I think he may have gotten busted open hard way, I don't know, but excellent action all the way throughout. The counters to their finishers, the Oz Cutter and the Chicken Wing, great, excellent stuff. And Ospreay, I said a couple years back that it's like, this kid's got a lot of athletic potential. If he can put, like, if he can learn how to work like a main event pace, this kid could be really something special. It reminds me of like when I started watching AJ Styles back in the day, and he's just getting better and better. Ospreay is really something special, and he's the type of guy, like, if you want a cruiserweight division in your company or a light heavyweight division, he's the guy you want to build that division around, because he just exemplifies everything you want out of cruiserweight wrestling. He's a great worker. Amazing athlete that can do things that nobody else can do, can have great matches with just about everybody you put him in the ring with. I think Ospreay really is something special, and I love Marty Scurll because he's one of those, you know, it's so easy for a guy his size to be a spot guy, but he's not. He is solely focused on being the heel. I mean, he literally calls himself the villain, and I just love that. And I thought these two meshed together perfectly. I thought they had an amazing match. Ospreay retained the title, but an excellent match between these two. I would say the best match I've seen them have so far. Excellent stuff. And then you had Cody Rhodes and Adam Hangman Page taking on the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, in a tag match that basically served as a preview for the Omega-Cody showdown. And this is the first time that Cody and Omega have really touched each other inside the ring since Cody turned on him back in January. See, if this were WWE, you'd be seeing them in tag matches every week, and maybe you'd get a singles match at some point, and you'd probably, it wouldn't feel quite as special, but here this kind of feels like a Saturday night's main event situation where you're getting nothing on TV until this special. You get a tag match, and then you're gonna get the big match at the major event that you pay for. So it's kind of like the tag match actually doesn't feel superfluous. It actually does feel like something worth going out of your way to see. It's like, ooh, it's a preview for Omega and Cody, and I thought was a very exciting match. And Cody, once again, just an outstanding heel. He got his eye busted open at one point, which looked pretty nasty, but yeah, terrific tag match, I thought. Really good stuff. And Cody got the win for his team, a cheap win where he held the tights on Kota Ibushi and rolled him up for a cheap pin. So he maintains his heat, and now we are even closer to Omega versus Cody at Supercard of Honor, and I'm even more excited. So this tag match did all the things it needed to do to make me excited for that match. And finally, we have the main event for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, versus the winner of the New Japan Cup, Zack Sabre Jr. And oh my god, this match was incredible. By the way, I want to point this out. I love Taka Michinoku doing the intro for Zack Sabre Jr. Just tap out. It just sounds so badass and so cool. But, you know, I have sat here and I have praised Okada endlessly. After this match and after all the matches I've seen him have, I think that dude could probably have a great match with anybody. Like, I've seen him do it with so many guys on his level, like a Tanahashi or a Naito. I've seen it do it with guys that you wouldn't expect him to have a great match with, like Bad Luck Fale, and Sonata. And I've seen him do it with guys that are so different from his own style, but he meshes well with them, like Ospreay and like Zack Sabre Jr. And this match was fucking incredible. And the thing I adore and love about Zack Sabre Jr. is that, again, he is not a spot guy. He is a guy that just straight up gets you down on the mat and comes up with all these crazy counters and all these crazy moves. And it's all these little things that he does. He, just the simple act of him grasping his hands to lock in a hold makes you feel like, oh my god, he's got it locked in. You can't get away. All these counters he does for the Rainmaker and the Tombstone. He did this one counter for the Tombstone where Okada hit the Tombstone, and while he was posing, Zack Sabre Jr. like flipped his legs up and like locked in his arm and turned it into an arm bar. It's like, Jesus Christ, this guy's incredible. So creative. So creative. He doesn't have to jump off the top rope to do it. He doesn't have to do a bunch of 450 splashes or do a bunch of dives. He just gets it done on the mat, and he's one of the most exciting mat wrestlers. Probably, I would go this far. You know, you think of the Chris Benoits and the Kurt Angles and those type of guys. He is up there in that same class. Like, the Malenkos, those guys that can just get you down on the mat and just have a really exciting... William Regal, Lord Steven Regal. He will always be Lord Steven Regal to me. But, you know, he just reminds me of those type of guys. And he doesn't have to do a bunch of dives or a bunch of top rope moves. He just gets you down on the mat and makes the simple act of, like, bending your fingers upward look painful as hell. And I love that about Zack Sabre Jr. And I thought him and Okada meshed together perfectly. It was basically this amazing clash of styles where Zack Sabre Jr. was like a spider monkey just crawling all over him, just locking him in holds left and right, and Okada just looking for those high-impact moves to put him down. He eventually did put him away with a couple Rainmakers, but good God. Very exciting match. Another great win for Okada, and just an excellent match in Okada's growing resume, and a huge match for Zack Sabre Jr., who continues to impress me. I think is one of the most exciting talents out there outside of the WWE, and is a guy that has built a fantastic reputation for himself, built a great brand for himself, and does what nobody else does, so he just stands out instantly. I can't sing the guy's praises enough. I think any roster that has Zack Sabre Jr. on it, you've got a good egg. Like, that is a guy you want on your roster, without a doubt. Alright, so I'm done reviewing that show. What should I give for a letter grade for that? Because I'm tempted... I love the last three matches, so I'm tempted to give it an A for that, but the undercard is so skippable and so forgettable that it's like... God, logic tells me to give it a B, but I loved the last three matches so much I'm tempted to give it an A just on that strength. I'll be nice and give it an A. Okay, well, it's a must-see event just for the last three matches. Skip the rest, but go to the last three matches, and you're going to get some really great stuff out of it. Phew, okay, we made it. Now, let's go into what you're all probably here to see. WrestleMania weekend previews, where I go through all the shows that I'm going to be watching WrestleMania weekend, and I'm going to be watching quite a bit. In addition to, watching 5 episodes of the main event and live streaming it, I'm going to be watching a bunch of different shows throughout the weekend, I should say. And let's get started with the WWE Hall of Fame, which is a big thing that happens annually and is a big attraction for WrestleMania. Now, I can sit here and trash the Hall of Fame because, as I've said before, there's no standard for getting into the Hall of Fame, so it's pretty pointless in that regard. There's no standard. It's just anybody that Vince likes and anybody that Vince thinks he can make money off of. Those are the guys that get in, it seems. But it is a fun thing. It is nice to honor these guys and get like a nice nostalgia pops and get certain people in there, especially if you're a big mark for those guys. I was a big mark for DDP, so watching him go in last year was a huge treat for me. It was a huge mark for Rick Rude, so watching him go in last year was a huge treat for me. So it does have that appeal to it, where it's just like taking those guys that you loved as a kid or you just appreciated their work, and you get to see them get honored. So that's the real appeal of the Hall of Fame. Yes, there's no physical hall, which is kind of bullshit. There's no set standard for picking who goes in, but as a nice way to honor the past, I think it's a nice thing to have, and it's something I look forward to every year. This year, though, this is probably the strangest Hall of Fame class they have done to date. Let me rattle off these names for you. You get WCW icon Bill Goldberg, former TNA owner Jeff Jarrett, never thought he'd be back, Ivory, who's kind of the standard female performer that they put in, ECW icons, the Dudley Boys, and they're WWE guys, so they had a lot of fame in the WWE, so I'm not saying they don't belong there, they do. Kid Rock, okay. You've got, who's the Warrior Award winner? Jarius J.J. Robertson. That's the Warrior Award, that's a nice thing that they do. And then you've got Hillbilly Jim and Mark Henry, which are two, really? They're going in? I guess I'll get started with Hillbilly Jim. Hillbilly Jim to me was just always one of those comedy jobber guys. One of Hulk Hogan's buddies back in the day. Apparently he wanted Hogan to induct him, which they're not doing. I wonder why. Which I would have, I would have honored his wishes and let Hogan induct him. So, but that's just me. But yeah, I never really thought of Hillbilly Jim as anyone that great or anyone that had a great body of work or was a great star in the history of business. He was just an 80s comedy guy. There wasn't really a whole lot to him. I didn't dislike Hillbilly Jim. He played his part. He had a role to play, and he played it. I thought the stuff that they did, that 6-man tag I watched on that episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, I was like, okay, I enjoyed that. It was a payoff to a storyline. The heels went over, so Piper and Ventura benefited from it. I was like, okay, I kind of enjoyed that. But his theme song was cool. I like the, don't go messing with a country boy, but he's not somebody I look back on as a great or a legend. Although somebody did give me the statistic that with Hillbilly Jim's induction, every wrestler who was a part of the animated show Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling is now in the Hall of Fame. So that's an interesting statistic there. Although I gotta admit, professional wrestling is probably the worst thing to do an animated show off of, especially like that, where, because, guys turn face and heel all the time, and guys leave the company. It's how can you keep, a consistent cast of characters across multiple seasons, especially when it takes 9 months to make one episode of an animated show? It just seems, I don't know, seems like a bad idea. But anyway, Hillbilly Jim, I know he's been a company guy for a real long time. I know Vince really likes him, and helped out a lot backstage, and that's probably the main reason he's going in. It just seems really odd to fans. It's Hillbilly Jim, really? Okay. Mark Henry, I know he's built up a bit of a respect from the fan base in the last few years or so. To me, Mark Henry is a guy that's been there for 20 years and barely did anything that great. He got injured a lot, which stalled a lot of his pushes. I remember that. He was very green when he first went up there and was really, really bad. The only thing of note that he did was Sexual Chocolate Mark Henry, which was funny until they had Mae Young give birth to a hand. Then it stopped being funny. It's you jumped the shark, WWE. Oh, we're done here. Yeah, and then he kind of just became like a generic big guy that they would feed to the real stars like Batista and Undertaker and those type of guys. And he just didn't really have that great a body of work for the longest time. And then in the last few years, they finally got him to a point where he was like a monster that beat people and murdered people, which was what he always should have been, probably. But I don't know. It's just like, Hall of Fame, really? But if Hillbilly Jim's going in, I'm not going to begrudge Mark Henry. I would say Henry deserves it more than Hillbilly Jim does. So, to each his own, I guess. It's just a weird pick. I know he's an Olympian, and I know there's that appeal there. But again, as far as his work in the WWE goes, he just never... I don't know. He never reached that level of greatness to me. And God help, they tried. They sure as hell tried with him because he kept getting pushes. But I don't know. His body of work never screamed Hall of Fame to me. But that's just me. Is he even retired? I thought he was still working like a part-time basis. Oh, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Then you have, like I said, Kid Rock, which the inclusion of Kid Rock really raised the rumors that Undertaker is going to be doing something at WrestleMania, whether it's a match with Cena or whatever, and he's going to come out as the American Badass, which probably, I don't know. I'll ask this question again. If you're going to have a celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame, where the fuck is Cyndi Lauper? She should have been the first one to go in. Come on, guys. Come on. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. Give it to the person that really, really deserves to be in there and really, really did have a positive impact on the WWE. Kid Rock, he performed a couple of times and that's it. Like, I don't really view him as, like, that big of a deal as far as celebrity appearances go. Yes, he gave Undertaker a theme song when he first became the American Badass. Bravo. That's it. Cyndi Lauper helped create WrestleMania. Like, her presence led to the creation of WrestleMania. I think Cyndi Lauper deserves a lot of more credit than Kid Rock. I'm just saying. As far as their impact on the business goes, I think Cyndi Lauper deserves more credit. That's just me. Let's see. Then we've got the Dudley Boys. Like I've said, absolutely they belong there. They were a revolutionary tag team. Very successful tag team. Did well everywhere they went. Did very well in the WWE. They had runs in the WWE where I thought they were boring as hell. But the table gimmick and the TLC matches that they had and the feuds that they had, absolutely. I don't begrudge the Dudley Boys going in there. They absolutely deserve it. Although it's going to be funny because Bubba works for Ring of Honor as their enforcer, kind of their babyface authority figure, so it'll be weird. We'll probably be seeing him, I think the Ring of Honor show is Saturday night, so he'll probably be at the Hall of Fame, and then you'll see him the next night at Supercard of Honor, so that's going to be an interesting little thing. Then we've got, talked about Henry, talked about that, and then we've got Ivory, who's the female performer, that's going in. Ivory's one of those ones, I always thought she was a very talented girl, so I'm kind of happy to see her, like, catch a break, but she didn't always get, like, a lot of respect from the WWE. She was always just the girl that was there to, like, lose to the stars, like when she was in Right to Censor, she was pretty much there just to lose to China at WrestleMania. They got a nice angle out of it. I'm not saying they didn't. It's just unfortunate that she never really got to be all that she could be. But she was a very good worker, came from Glow, which I wonder if that somehow influenced their decision to put her in. I'll say this, how is Luna Vachon not in there yet? That's shocking to me. Like, come on, guys, get on this. You would have thought Luna would have been in years ago, but anyway, Ivory, the thing I'm looking forward to here, if you've ever seen her in shoot interviews, she likes to go off on tangents and just talk. The girl loves to talk, and she is fun as hell to listen to. I cannot wait for her Hall of Fame speech, because I think she's going to steal the show. Her speech is going to be incredible, because she's just going to go off and say whatever the fuck she wants. I think it's going to be great. So I'm really, really looking forward to her speech. Also, not going to lie, I did kind of have a crush on Ivory when I was in high school. I got a thing for brunettes. You just got to let me have it. I like brunettes. I can't help it. It's my thing. It's my thing. I like brunettes. But anyway, last time I saw Ivory, she's in her 50s now, and she still looked pretty good. So... but again, that's just me. And then we've got Jeff Jarrett, which I said I never expected to see him back in the WWE, considering how everything went down with him. Yeah, the creator and owner, former owner of TNA and Global Force Wrestling is now being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Karen Angle is probably going to be there at the ceremony with Kurt Angle. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen Jarrett. She's Karen Jarrett now. That's why it's awkward, because you see she was married to Kurt, and then she joined up with Jeff in real life, which TNA turned into a real storyline. It's like, craziness. If you love drama, this is it right here, man. But, I'm not saying Jeff doesn't deserve it. I feel like he does. When you look at his accomplishments, in the WWE, he had some really good stuff in the WWE, but he was pretty much just a mid-carder. But then you look at what he did in other companies. He was like, God damn it, he was like the little soldier that tried his damnedest to keep WCW afloat in 2000. He was one of the few good things about WCW during that point, because it's like you got the sense that, wow, Jeff Jarrett is working his ass off, trying to make this company good again. And, created TNA, and I thought he did very well in TNA as world champion. Some people said that he didn't need to be world champion. I would argue... And this was the excuse that was given, and I kind of agree with it. It's like, look, they're an upstart company trying to establish themselves. All it takes is one phone call from the WWE, and you lose your world champion. But if Jarrett's the champion, you don't have that. You don't have to worry about that. So I kind of get it in those early years and why they did that. And I thought he had some outstanding matches in TNA. When you look at his stuff with AJ, his stuff with Angle, his stuff with Bobby, he had a really good match with Bobby Roode, I remember, in 2007. I've always appreciated Jeff Jarrett's work. I've always appreciated him as a worker. And I'm happy for him. I'm glad that, he had a bit of a tumultuous 2017. So I'm glad to see him kind of get this night and get his night in the spotlight. And hopefully he makes the most of it and is able to turn it into something good. So, and then finally we have Bill Goldberg, who is somebody that I was a mark for in WCW, huge star in WCW. And yeah, I feel like he deserves to go in. He wasn't on top for very long, but when he was on top, he was the hottest thing on the planet. So you can't argue with that. It's kind of like Warrior. It's like, yeah, Warrior didn't have the longest run, but man, he was so hot for that brief period that you almost can't say no. And yeah, but again, it's weird that the WCW icon is going to be going into the Hall of Fame. Although, I mean, he did have a really good run last year, I thought, with the WWE. I thought they handled his last run about as well as it could possibly go. And, I had complained about how DDP was used in the WWE, how the NWO was used, how Steiner was used, how Sting was used, all these other WCW guys that just got shit on. And even Goldberg the first time, I was like, they got Goldberg wrong. They got Goldberg wrong. Second time around, I thought they fixed a lot of those mistakes and just presented us with the true raw bone Goldberg that we always needed and always wanted. What he always should have been. And the proof was in the pudding. He stole a show with Brock Lesnar last year at WrestleMania. It's like you book him properly and you get great stuff out of him. So, I'm happy to be seeing Goldberg going in as well. So, that is that. Now, let's actually preview WrestleMania itself. Before I get into all the other shows that happen on Friday and Saturday before WrestleMania, let me get into the main WrestleMania card. I am about 45 minutes into this video, so let's talk about the actual WrestleMania event while I'm at it. So, yeah, WrestleMania 34 is a pretty stacked card in terms of, like, the number of matches they put on there. And they managed to get every single championship on there, and there's a bunch of multi-man matches as well. So I could criticize it for being overly cluttered, but I'm just impressed. It's like, oh my god, it's like they had a plan for everybody. That's rare in this day and age. It's like, oh my god, and you don't have like the part-timers taking up a shit ton of spots either. So it's like, oh my god, it freed it up for a bunch of guys, and a bunch of guys are getting to shine a little bit, and maybe carve some little WrestleMania highlights for themselves. So that's good to see. And there's some good build-ups going into this year's Mania. I don't hate this card, which is good to say and good to see. It's like, I'm actually like kind of interested in seeing how this plays out. Could be a disaster, I don't know, but as far as the build-up goes, as far as the actual card, I'm like, I mean, it could be better, sure, but it's not terrible. I'm looking at it, it's like, all right, I kind of want to see how this plays out, so I'll give him credit for that. Right off the bat, I've got to talk about this, because we don't know if this match is going to be happening. I'm assuming it is, even though, despite how Raw played out, Undertaker versus John Cena. For weeks and weeks, Cena has been going out on Raw, calling out The Undertaker and challenging him to a match at WrestleMania. No response from Taker, and we've had the go-home show to Raw, we've had go-home show to SmackDown, no response from Taker. So, are we getting the match, or are we not getting the match? My fear is they're going to have a confrontation between the two at WrestleMania, and they're going to use that to start a year-long build-up, and we'll get the match at WrestleMania 35, which if they do that, fuck you. Yeah, that's what Undertaker needs, an extra year to get older. Yeah, that'll help. That'll make the match better. Don't do that. For the love of God, do not do that. What they're probably going to do is either at the Hall of Fame itself, they're going to have Undertaker respond to Cena, which that would be interesting to actually set up a WrestleMania match at the Hall of Fame ceremony. That would be interesting to do. Or they're going to have Undertaker come out, because there's talks that Undertaker might induct Kid Rock. I don't know if he is or not, but actually, have all the lists of the inductees come out? I'm not sure. I know Paul Heyman's inducting Goldberg, which is kind of strange, but when you consider, apparently Paul Heyman worked very closely with Goldberg and protected him during his last run, and it shows. That felt like Paul Heyman booking, oh hey, hide the weaknesses, show the strengths. Oh my god. But anyway, I'm getting off track. There's talk that Undertaker might challenge him or accept his challenge at the Hall of Fame. There's talk that Undertaker might come out during WrestleMania itself as the American Badass and get in Cena's face, and they'll have their match, an impromptu match right there. Which if they do that, the crowd is going to pop like shit. It's like, oh my god, something we didn't get, something we didn't know we were getting, or whatever. The crowd is going to go ape shit for that. I hope, if they're going to do this match, I hope they do it at this show just to get it out of the way. And I think if it's an impromptu thing that'll, hold that spark, it's got to be short-ish. I say keep it to 10 minutes or so. If they go half an hour, I'm like, fuck you. If you give me another half an hour long Undertaker match, go fuck yourself. So I can't sit through another one of those. But, I've said it before, I do not give a shit about this match at all whatsoever. I don't care. I've been begging, screaming for Undertaker to retire for years now. We're at close to half a decade. I've been just begging Undertaker to retire. He should have retired when the streak ended. I maintain that. I stand by that. Cena's a part-timer now. He's on the back end of his career. I don't care. Dude, just keep making shitty movies like Cock Blockers. That movie looks fucking terrible, by the way. But it's like, dude, just keep making movies. I don't care. I was talking to my sister the other day, and she's like, wow, John Cena's in some movies now. I'm like, yeah, guess what? He's your problem now. I was like, the wrestling audience had to put up with him for over, close to a decade and a half. He's your fucking problem now. You deal with him. But anyway, I just don't care about this match. The time to do this match would have been while the streak was still intact, because Cena was one of those guys I thought, oh my god, they're going to give him the win, aren't they? And it would have given me something, it would have been dramatic, and it would have given me something to care about. I was like, no, don't give Cena the streak. Fuck you. Don't do that. And you would have had Cena as the natural heel and Taker as the ultimate babyface in that situation. Like, please, dear God, let Taker win this one. But now the streak's gone. Taker looks like crap now, based on his last few Mania performances. And Cena, he's a part-timer that loses most of the time. That was the build-up to this match. Cena basically sucks and can't get himself onto the WrestleMania card because he lost all the time. So it's like, I can't even muster the energy to get mad at him. He comes across like a whiny bitch in the promos. I've actually made the comparison. He's like, if you watch the Rocky movies, if you watch Rocky 2, there's that scene with Apollo Creed where one of his agents is like, now if you try this humiliation tactic, you're setting yourself up as the bad guy, right? And he's like, look, man, whatever gets him in the ring. Then in Rocky 5, you have George Washington Duke, who's like a Don King parody. It's like, only in America. And he's basically spends the entire movie trying to goad Rocky Balboa out of retirement into a match without any care of Rocky's health, without any care of Rocky's well-being. He just wants to get Rocky in the ring so he can promote a fight and get a lot out of him. He even ruins Rocky's personal life to do it by turning his mentor Tommy Gunn against him. And I realize I just made Rocky 5 sound a lot better than it actually is, but anyway. Cena totally comes across like a dick in this whole build-up. It's like, okay, so according to Cena, you're supposed to be a broken-down circus animal that is a slave to the brand, a slave to the WWE, and if the fans cheer for you, you're supposed to throw yourself out there, and you owe it to them. Even though you've had a legendary career, you're old in your 50s, you've just had hip replacement surgery, and you had a legendary career that nobody can touch, and you really don't have anything left to prove to anybody. But no, the fans cheer for you, so you have to go out there and destroy your body once again, because fans cheer for you. That's just how it is. And Cena's a suck-up to the fans, and he's a shill and a corporate asshole, and I hate that character. I have not enjoyed the build up to this, and the idea of doing this match just angers me. I do give them credit for doing something different with the build up by, it's like, is the match going to happen at WrestleMania or not? Are they going to set it up in the Hall of Fame? They're going to set it up on the show itself? That's different. I would rather they would do that type of thing with actual exciting talents that I want to see. At this point, I don't give a shit about Cena, and I don't give a shit about Taker, so why are we even doing this? Like, come on. But if they do the impromptu match, the audience is going to lose their goddamn minds. They're getting an unadvertised match on the show. Who goes over? I could see it going either way, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't help Cena at all. It doesn't help Taker at all. It doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter who goes over. I'll pick Cena to go over, but it really, like, who cares? Like, if you're a Taker mark, are you really going to be that upset if Cena goes over? I mean, really, at this point, like, does it really matter if Taker loses again at Mania? No, I don't think so. So that's, just in case Taker Cena happens, I want to give my thoughts on it. So there's that. Now, next up, we've got two Battle Royals. We've got the Women's Battle Royal, no longer called the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. I wonder why they changed it. By the way, the trophy looks like garbage, because you can tell that, like, the little cup that they put on top of it is not what was originally part of the trophy, and it looks horrible. It looks like a toy, and it's like, oh, I'd love to see what that Moolah piece looked like. I'd love to see it. That's embarrassing. But again, I'm thinking, it's like, guys, Sherry Martel, Luna Vachon, Alundra Blaze. She doesn't have to be dead, right? Alundra Blaze. You could give it Trish Stratus. You could have used her. Fuck it. Even Sable. Use Sable. Fucking use a non-wrestler like Miss Elizabeth. I mean, my God. Anybody but Moolah with her past. I mean, come on, dude. You had to know that was going to blow up in your face. But that was unfortunate. Anyway, like, the Battle Royal, it's going to be what it is. It's just an excuse to get all the girls on the show. I'm assuming the winner is going to be either Sasha Banks or Bayley, given the build-up that they've been having. This nonsensical, like, friendship where they turn on each other in every single match they have, whether it be walking out on your tag partner or turning on each other in an Elimination Chamber match or whatever. I feel like they've turned on each other like 6 times. And I'm like, guys, when the Mega Powers exploded, Randy only turned on Hogan once. You only need 1 turn. You don't need to have 57 turns. It's like, come on, guys. Let's stop repeating yourself. It's like, you only need the 1 turn. You'll be fine. Owen only turned on Brett once. That's all you needed. He kicked his leg out of his leg. That's all you needed to have happen. But anyway, I'm assuming the winner is going to be one of them. I'll pick Sasha Banks to win it, but to be perfectly honest, I don't care all that much. And then we have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, an annual event, one that I think that they could have turned into something special if they'd actually used it as a platform to push somebody to the top. I guess Baron Corbin got the best of the bunch, and he doesn't even have a match at WrestleMania. He'll probably be in this. So, won the Money in the Bank, did nothing with it, and he was probably the one that benefited the most from winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Mojo Rawley won it last year. What's he doing now? Cesaro won it. Looked like he was going to get big push. Turned to nothing. And then he kind of had to salvage his career by getting that tag team run. But Big Show got it out of obligation more than anything else. So, yeah, and I love that Dolph Ziggler's probably going to be in this match. I just love what they did with Dolph Ziggler. It just epitomizes his career in the WWE. He wins the U.S. title, surrenders it, makes people think, oh my God, is he going to win the Royal Rumble? Is he going to be like this dark horse pick to win the Royal Rumble? Goes in at number 30, is eliminated in 2 minutes, nothing happens, nothing comes of it. Then he kind of goes on this pseudo character path where he wants to have a singles match at WrestleMania because he's never had a singles match at WrestleMania. They do nothing with that. It looks like he's just going to be in the Battle Royal again. It's like, bravo. I love that you give like character motivations and directions for guys and then do nothing with it. It's just, and that's Dolph Ziggler in a nutshell. Few guys are going to be in this. I think Broken Matt Hardy's going to be in it. My pick to win it, I'm going to pick a repackaged Bray Wyatt. I think after being thrown into the Lake of Reincarnation, they're going to repackage Bray Wyatt and try and fix him after all the booking damage that they've done to him. And I think he's going to debut with like a new look and a new like presentation style, and he'll probably win the Battle Royal, last eliminating Woken Matt Hardy. That's my prediction, but Who knows? I mean, again, Mojo Rawley won it last year, so who the fuck knows with this thing? I don't even think they care this much about the Battle Royal. I think I've put way more thought into it than they ever did. So, there's that. All right, and also we have for the Cruiserweight title, the finals to the tournament to crown a new Cruiserweight champion after Enzo's sudden departure and stripping of the title. This is a tournament that has been going on in 205 Live for, I think, the last couple months now. I have not watched 205 Live since last year, so I have no idea how the tournament's gone. I have not watched any of it, so I don't even know. Like, okay, it's Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. I have no idea if those are the two best guys to be put in the tournament. I'm like, were those the two that shined the most, that deserved to be in that spot? I have absolutely no idea. What I'm hoping for in this match is that they do something that kind of hooks me again and gets me to want to watch 205 Live again. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. It's like, all right, you're getting a Cruiserweight title match. The Enzo shit is behind you. Let's see if they can do something with this and see if Cedric and Mustafa Ali, they're going to be on the pre-show, but let's see if they can have a match that gets people talking and gives me something to kind of hook me into wanting to watch 205 Live. Because as is, it's like I can't be bothered to watch 205 Live. I just don't care. Although it is bizarre that Rockstar Spot is on there now. It's like, wow, it's like Rockstar Spot even jumped ship? Really? Wow, that's incredible. As a prediction, I'll go with Cedric just because he's the more well-known name of the two. But again, who knows? All right, now we're going into the matches that are likely going to be on the main WrestleMania card. The Usos defending the SmackDown Tag Team Championship against the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers, the artists formerly known as the Wyatt family, in a triple threat match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. They have not turned this into a TLC match or a ladder match as rumored. That might change, I don't know, but for right now, I'm just happy there's not another multi-man ladder match. I'm going to be getting quite a few of those this weekend, and like, I don't need another one, and WrestleMania does them every year, and they're increasingly meaningless, so it's like, I'm fine with them not having to rely on the crux of a ladder match, and just let the guys actually wrestle and work a match, although it's a three-way tag, so it's probably going to turn into a spot fest anyway, but, you know, whatever. I think the Usos and the New Day have consistently had really good matches with each other. If you watch their pay-per-view matches from 2017, they had the only match I enjoyed at Battleground last year, that horrible, horrible fucking show. I think this could be a really good match. I think the Bludgeon Brothers will add a different dimension to it, being the kind of powerhouse bruiser tag team. I'm going to pick them to win the belts because they seem to be wanting, based on what I saw at Fastlane, they seem to be wanting to push them in that direction as like this dominant, beat-you-down motherfucker tag team. So... yeah, I'm going to pick them to win the titles. I think this match could be pretty solid. Could be one of the kind of sleeper hits on the show. For the United States title, we have a fatal four-way match. We have Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal, who got onto the WrestleMania card by hook or by crook. The glorious one, Bobby Roode, and being rewarded for getting over fucking Rusev, who got over with the whole Rusev Day thing. This match feels like something that was thrown together. It just feels like a bunch of guys thrown into a title match just for the sake of having it. Like, okay, Orton has to have a match, so we'll put him in the U.S. title match. And, oh, Jinder was a big guy last year because we had the WWE title on him for most of the year for God knows what reason. Well, I know what the reasons are, but they were stupid reasons. They didn't even pay off. And we like Bobby Roode and we want to push him, but we don't really have like a solid plan in place for any of them. So fuck it. We'll just throw him into a three-way U.S. title match. And then Rusev got over and it's like, fuck it. He's selling t-shirts. The fans are chanting for him. Throw him into a title match. I love how WWE creative turned like all like Midwestern. It's like, the Bears, the Bulls, the Air, man. How many heart attacks does that make for you? That makes a baker's dozen for me. But anyway, yeah, I don't really care about this match. It's just, to me, it's just filler. For who goes over, I'm going to pick Orton to retain. I could see it going, to Rusev as kind of a knee-jerk reaction to him getting over, but as is, I just kind of don't care. Orton bores me to tears. Modern-day, current-day Orton bores me to tears. Jinder Mahal, I don't get at all. I like Bobby Roode a lot, and as a fan of his work from TNA and NXT, I'm happy to see him get a WrestleMania spot, but he needs to be, like, a straight-up heel. Like, them bringing him in as a babyface, I thought was a huge mistake. He needs to be straight-up nasty motherfucker old-school heel, but, yeah, to me, this is just something that's filling a spot, not really anything else other than that, which is kind of why I'm thinking, it's like, they probably won't do a title change here, but again, if anyone's going to win the belt, it'll probably be Rusev. Just, again, as kind of a knee-jerk reaction to him being over. And yes, they are going to chant for him like crazy at WrestleMania. So look forward to that. All right, and then for the Raw Women's Championship, we have Alexa Bliss defending against Nia Jax. Some of the things they've done in the build-up here has been fine. I like the basic idea for the story, with Alexa basically using this muscle to kind of protect her championship without wanting to actually face her herself. The segment where Alexa got caught on camera insulting her was clumsy. And I think Alexa's going off again. I'll have to stop saying it. We'll just say Bliss. How's that sound? Okay, so Bliss got caught on camera. I thought that segment was very clumsy. I thought the emotional interview with Nia Jax was very non-emotional and very static. But, you know, the basic story's okay, and the idea behind it's okay. I expect this to be a short and sweet match, just the monster trying to get her hands on this Weasley coward champion, then she finally does and puts her away and wins the belt. I could see Alexa retaining the title by countout or disqualification. I'm also wondering if they want to do Carmella's Money in the Bank cash-in for this match instead of Asuka and Charlotte later on. Because that match is one of the big attractions. I feel like that needs to be kept pure, and I would hate to see Asuka's undefeated streak ended by a Money in the Bank cash-in. That would be kind of lame. And if she doesn't, and if Carmella's unsuccessful, then the cash-in's pointless. So it's like, it's this nobody wins scenario. So, like, to me, it's like, why not just do the cash-in here and do it in this match? Like, say, Bliss gets DQ'd on purpose, and then Nia, like, lays her out, and then Carmella, like, to the shock of everyone, like, shocks everyone and cashes in the Money in the Bank on Alexa Bliss when no one expected it because she's a SmackDown girl. But hey, you know what? I remember back in the day, the first Money in the Bank, when Edge had it, and they said that the contract he held was exclusively for the World Heavyweight Championship. So when the world title switched brands and the WWE title came over to Raw, Edge was fucked. And, like, the briefcase didn't mean anything, so Edge was kind of stuck on an island. They never addressed it. He just cashed in on Cena anyway, and it didn't matter. So it was like, okay, well, then why'd you even film that segment? But, but anyway, yeah, I'm counting on either Nia's going to win the belt or Alexa is going to keep the title through some super cheap way. And that's how it's going to play out.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa, oh my god. I gotta remember to unplug that thing whenever I talk about Bliss matches. Anyway, next up for the Raw Tag Team Championship, we've got the Bar defending against the Battle Royal winner, Braun Strowman, and a tag team partner of his choosing, who will be a mystery. I'm anticipating the mystery partner will be someone like Big Show or Kane or Mark Henry or someone like that, some big brute that is going to create a monster powerhouse tag team. I was kind of hoping that Strowman would have a bigger spot on the card than this, but he's probably going to win his first title, which, okay, I guess I can mark out for that. And Sheamus and Cesaro, I think, have made a pretty good team with each other. And so as someone who could not stand Sheamus when they were pushing him as a main eventer, I thought he's done pretty well in this tag team. It's like it's the best thing he's ever done. So, yeah, I think this could be some solid stuff. And, you know, the idea of Braun winning his first WWE Championship, even if it is the tag titles, it's a pretty solid one. And who knows, he may even just go in there and make it a handicap match and somebody might jump in and substitute as his partner a la Dude Love. So, again, who knows? Dropping stuff now. Just clumsy all over the place. So, yeah, I'm going to pick whatever happens. It doesn't matter who the partner is. I'm going to pick Braun Strowman to ultimately win the tag titles. Next up, we've got an IC Championship triple threat match. The Miz defending against Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. I would be more excited for this match if they didn't have them wrestle each other in matches every single week on Raw. I feel like I've seen singles matches between all three of them, tag matches involving all three of them, and it's every week on Raw. So you get to a point where it's like, well, there's not much of an attraction of seeing them wrestle each other because I've just been seeing it every Raw for the last like month and a half. But I do think that this could be a really solid match. I think this could be the sleeper hit of the show. You've got amazing athletes in Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, but you also have this great heel in The Miz, and I think he's going to bring a lot to it. So I think this could be like kind of the surprise hit of the show if everything goes well. I'm also excited at the prospect of Finn Balor's entrance, which I'm hoping he comes out as the Demon, because a WrestleMania-sized Demon entrance for Finn Balor would be really super cool. So here's hoping for that. I think the match could be really good. I'm going to pick Miz to retain, and then that'll transition over into a full-blown Rollins versus Balor feud. building off of their Universal title situation back when Finn got injured way back when. Well, way back when, it was less than 2 years ago, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that IC title match. I think it's going to be good. Now, the bigger of the two women's title matches is up next. Charlotte Flair defending against the undefeated Asuka, who also won the Female Royal Rumble to get the spot. So, I think this match does feel like a big attraction, mainly because of Asuka's unbeatability. She's been undefeated forever, never lost, won the Rumble, wins everything. She's like the first like women's sole survivor at a Survivor Series or something like that. She's just always winning stuff. Longest reigning NXT Women's Champion, never lost that belt. She just seems unbeatable. Now you're putting her up against the top woman performer on the main roster right now in Charlotte. I think this could be like a really good match. I think this could be like a really good highlight match for the women. Now, I've talked about it in the last couple of years, this women's revolution that they keep doing. You know, the matches that they have done the last couple years, it's like, oh, we're pushing the women. We're awesome for doing that. It's like, yeah, but you're pushing matches that have little to no story in it. Like the last year, it was a 4-way and a 7-way with like no build, no story, no character, no drama. It was just a bunch of women thrown into a match. And even the year before that, it's like, all right, you picked the 3 best girls in Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte, but it was still like, oh, we're just doing a match because, yes, they had the best match on the show, but that WrestleMania sucked anyway, so it doesn't matter as much. It's not like they were the shining stars of a really good card. They were the best part of a bad card. So now we have this one, which is like, okay, now we've got like that. This one has a bit more of a big fight feel to it. This one feels a little bit more interesting than the typical, we're pushing women, aren't we awesome? This one actually feels like a match worth going out of your way to see. I'm hoping to God they don't do the Carmella cash-in, because that would kind of spoil it. And again, I would hate to see Asuka's unbeaten streak ended by a Money in the Bank cash-in. That would be sorely disappointing. Maybe they'll do something where Charlotte beats Asuka and then Asuka beats the crap out of her and then Carmella cashes in. I don't know. But I'm hoping they don't do anything like that. I'm picking Asuka to win. Continue her undefeated streak, because ultimately she's going to have a showdown with Ronda Rousey, which I'll let you decide whether or not that's a good thing. But yeah, I think that's going to be one of the highlight matches of the show. And then we have probably my favorite attraction for this year's WrestleMania, the in-ring return of Daniel Bryan. Yes, yes, yes. One of the things I am most excited about for this year's WrestleMania, just to see Daniel Bryan back in the ring, is going to be a wonderful experience for all the fans, and I'm super excited for it. And I've said it before, you could have put him up against the Boogeyman, you could have put him up against the Shockmaster, you could have put him up against the Gobbledygooker, you could have put him up against Hornswoggle. I don't care. I just want to see Daniel Bryan wrestle again, and it's, to me, the major highlight attraction of this year's WrestleMania, because it's not something you thought you'd ever see. You didn't think you'd get to see Daniel Bryan in a WWE ring ever again. So, it's going to be Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and if Owens and Zayn win, they get their jobs back on SmackDown. Now, that stipulation creates a bit of a conundrum, a dramatic conundrum, if you will. With that stipulation, it makes me think that Owens and Zayn are going to win. Do you want to have Daniel Bryan lose his first match back, though? It's like, do you really want to pull the rug out from under the fans? So, I don't know. I'm torn on, and is somebody going to turn heel on the Shane and Daniel Bryan side? I don't know. Do you want to turn Daniel Bryan heel? He's like he's going to become the most over babyface in the company overnight. I mean, why go against the grain like that? So to me, I'm going to pick Shane and Bryan to go over. If they don't, I hope to God they have some super hot angle to make it work, because that would be a real buzz killer if Daniel Bryan lost his first match back, unless they have some super hot idea planned to make it work. So I'm going to pick Shane and Bryan to go over. Fingers crossed, staying optimistic. Okay, next up, another one of the star attractions for the show, the WWE in-ring debut of Ronda Rousey, the rowdy one. And she's going to be teaming up with Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, also making his WrestleMania return, in-ring return, that is, as they take on Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in a mixed tag match. I mean, this will really be an indicator of what Rousey's going to be worth as a long-term investment. I still think she's a little green. For the love of God, stop putting the mic on her, because she's terrible on the mic. Some of the segments they've done to build it up, I think, have been good. Especially like the initial contract signing segment. I thought that was actually fairly well done. Stephanie putting Rousey through a table on Raw this week, I was like, okay. Like, sure, I buy that. Yeah, she beats the crap out of Triple H, but Stephanie's able to put her through a table. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. But anyway, I know a lot of people are down on Triple H and Stephanie because of, they push themselves and blah, 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 always put themselves in big spots or whatever. They put themselves over when they shouldn't and all this other stuff. They have creative control and just do whatever the hell they want to make themselves look good. I think that Ronda Rousey is a long-term investment that they are like going to pour their heart and soul into. So I think there's no question that Rousey and Angle go over, because if they do, it's like that's going to get the Rousey experiment off to a very bad start. Yes, I mean, Sting's one thing. It's like that's a WCW guy that, the only people you're going to be pissing off there are Sting marks and WCW fans. But Rousey, I mean, this is something that, you're getting some attention for this, and this is one of the star attractions for this WrestleMania, and it's an interesting match. And the way celebrity matches go, celebrity matches are always either really, really entertaining and one of the best parts of the show, or they're complete and utter train wrecks that serve as like a low light of the show. It's like there's almost no in between. Some examples I'm thinking of, really good ones, the main event of WrestleMania 1. Really bad one, the Butterbean match from WrestleMania 15. So, it's, I mean, you just don't know. You don't know how it's going to turn out. It could be really fun. I don't know if Angle is the best choice of partner for Ronda Rousey, because I don't know if you've seen Angle's last few performances. He does not look good. It looks like all those injuries and his age have finally caught up with him. I know Angle's a fucking robot and a crazy person and the hardest working man in the history of the business, but as Rocky Balboa said, time's undefeated. So it looks like, based on the last few performances I've seen, it looks like time caught up with Kurt Angle's. But hopefully he's able to, because he's going to have to be the one to carry the load for this match, because Rousey can't work the whole thing, clearly. But hopefully this match is fun, and Rousey and Angle have to go over. There's no other way to say it. Now, as far as making Rousey a long-term investment, she needs a lot of work. So I know they want to do a match with Asuka. That's obvious, but you've got to get Rousey in position to be able to work these matches and be believable in there against someone like Asuka, because that's going to be very, very hard to sell fans on. I'm not saying she can't improve. I wish her all the best. I hope she does improve. If they're going to use her as a long-term investment, I would hope she would improve, but fingers crossed, here's hoping. Rousey and Angle have to go over here. There's just no other, anything less is just a mistake. All right, then we've got the 2 world title matches, our 2 main events, if you will. AJ Styles taking on Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE title. Now, I have not been watching SmackDown except in clipped form, largely for the Daniel Bryan stuff. Have they done anything to build this match up? Is there any conflict here at all whatsoever? Because if there is, I'm not aware of it. As far as I know, Shinsuke Nakamura won the Rumble. AJ retained the title in February, and it's like just constant reminders that they are going to be doing this match. And that is it. It's just like this match is happening. We are doing this match. It's gonna happen, but there's no conflict. It's like, come on, guys. I love AJ Nakamura, and this is the match I wanted, but I like a little conflict. I like a little sizzle on my steak. And it just feels like they're doing this just to get the star rating junkies and the smart marks happy. It's like, well, give them the match they want. God damn. They want AJ Nakamura, let him have it. And it's like, okay, fine, but could you give me a little bit more than that? In my head canon, I'm just like, okay, they have unresolved issues. AJ lost to Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom 10 years ago, right before they came to the WWE, and this is AJ's shot at revenge. There's your conflict. It doesn't have to be like the most amazing, it doesn't have to be like Hogan Savage, Mega Powers, or anything like that. It's just gotta be a little something. Just give me a little nugget. Just give me something. Like, Charlotte and Asuka, all that really has is Asuka's undefeated streak. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes it interesting. Title versus streak. Okay, that's interesting. But this just feels like something they did just to please the smart marks. And they could have put a little bit more thought into it other than that. For anyone who saw their match at Wrestle Kingdom 10, you saw an absolutely incredible match. I thought the match they had was fucking amazing. Would have been the match of the night, hands down, had they not been sharing the same card with yet another amazing Okada-Tanahashi match. But they had an absolute barn burner at Wrestle Kingdom 10, and I am super excited at the potential of them having a similar match on the big stage of WrestleMania. And speaking as a fan of AJ Styles, a guy who has followed his career for years and years and years, since 2004 was when I really started to pay attention to his work and really get into the guy. It's a huge treat for me that the guy that I supported for all those years and the guy that WWE fans told me wasn't good enough to be in the WWE, not good enough to be WWE champion, he's not as good as you say he is, he's overrated, he's a spot monkey, he's a bland vanilla midget, and all the insults and everything. That vanilla midget is now going into WrestleMania as the WWE fucking champion, and that makes me super happy. They're not going to get the closing spot. I actually kind of hope they do this match early just to kind of get it out of the way and it doesn't have to suffer from poor match order or crowd fatigue because the show's going to be 19 hours long. I hope they do it fairly early, say third match on the card. I'd be okay with that, but I'm super happy for AJ that he's getting this spot. Yeah, I'm just excited for him. This is a huge feather in his cap and big for his resume that he's going to get a WWE title match at a WrestleMania as the defending champion. I'll pick Nakamura to win it. It really depends on how high they are on Nakamura, whether or not they're willing to put a belt on him. But we'll see. Hopefully they're able to have a really exciting match, just this really great classic encounter worthy of WrestleMania. That's really all you can hope for with this thing. And, it's their time to shine. It's the match we wanted, so here's hoping they deliver. But the match that is likely to close WrestleMania will be Brock Lesnar defending the Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. The build-up to this has not been terrible. You may be surprised to hear me say that. Some of the segments they've done to build this up have actually been pretty good. And they seem to have gotten Roman cheered a little bit more. Is it too little too late, and is that going to make a difference at WrestleMania? I don't know. I mean, I'm a little surprised that here we are. It's his fourth WrestleMania main event in a row. He got booed to shit at 31. I had a terrible match with Triple H at 32. I had an even worse match with Taker last year, although that was more Taker's fault than his. And Taker, I said it was his fault. It was he's just old and shouldn't be working, 25-minute matches. I mean, come on, guys. But, now here he is. He gets his fourth WrestleMania main event in a row, and it's and CM Punk couldn't get one. It's okay. Savage only had two. Okay. Okay. That's fine. But anyway, Roman's going to win the belt, and here's what I'm hoping they do, and a lot of people have speculated on this, so I'm not the first one to say it, but if Paul Heyman turns on Lesnar, and they end WrestleMania with a Roman Reigns heel turn, that could fix Roman and give us a huge, holy shit moment to close WrestleMania on, and I hope they do it. For the love of God, please do it. It's I know I'm probably screaming at the wind at this point, but it's come on, just do it. Just do it. Make it happen. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be the WrestleMania main event. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Like I said, the build-up hasn't been terrible, so maybe the spark for this match will be a little bit higher than some of Roman's last couple Mania matches. So we'll see. But that is the card for WrestleMania. Like I said, that is a 14 fucking matches over a 7-hour period. That is a long... Oh, God, it's going to be another long show. But you know what? I'm happy that they at least put forth the effort to not rely as much on the part-timers and to actually create a full card and give the regulars and give the full-timers chances to shine. Whether or not they do shine is something we'll have to wait and see. But I think this has the potential to be a pretty solid and entertaining WrestleMania. It's just a matter of if everything goes according to plan. So, once again, we'll see. Now it's time to preview all the other shows that I'm going to be watching WrestleMania weekend. There's 3 in particular. NXT TakeOver New Orleans, which is the big NXT show, which I'm really looking forward to that. Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor 12, which I'm really looking forward to that. And then you got Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground, which is going to be airing for free on their Twitch channel. So it's free, and that's awesome. And I'm just going to mark out for the Lucha Underground guys. So I'm just excited to see that. So a lot of stuff to look forward to this weekend. There's a bunch of other different shows happening this weekend. I might even, I saw an itinerary showing all the different wrestling shows that are going to be happening over the course of the weekend. I might post a link to that and put it in the description just to give you guys a full outline of everything that's going to be happening. But let's get started with NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Now, we have the Tag Team Championship match, which I believe just got made official. I didn't watch tonight's NXT, but I did read the spoilers, so I know this match is happening, and I think it would have been made official here. The Undisputed Era with Adam Cole, baby! Filling in for the unfortunately injured Bobby Fish. They will be defending the tag titles against the makeshift team of Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong, who made it to the finals of the Dusty Tag Team Classic, and the Authors of Pain, who also made it to the finals of the Dusty Tag Team Classic. The Undisputed Era broke up the finals, caused a no contest, so this match will be for both the NXT Tag Team Championship and the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tag Team Tournament Trophy. So, this feels kind of rushed. Like, yeah, it feels like, oh, you didn't know whether you were going to do the tag team finals or the tag title match, so you just kind of threw them together and combined them both. The match will probably be good. I like the Authors of Pain a lot. I like Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, and I think Dunn and Roderick Strong have potential to be a nice, solid, like, makeshift team. So I expect this to be a nice, action-packed match. I just wish, because Bobby Fish got hurt, why even have a tag title match? Why not just do the Dusty Road Tag Team Classic and then do that at the next TakeOver special? The tag team match when Bobby Fish will probably be back. I don't know. That's just me. Feels a little cluttered to be having it a three-way and then for both the trophy and the tag titles. Feels like a bit much. But I expect a nice, solid match out of this. I also anticipate that the titles will probably change hands. Also, going back a bit, doing it my way, saving the tag title match for later, also prevents Adam Cole from having to pull double duty and work a ladder match and this match. So I imagine Adam Cole's probably not going to get too much action in this match, if I had to guess. But anyway, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are the defending champions right now. I don't expect them to hold on to the belts. I'm going to pick Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong to win it, because I think Authors of Pain, they're kind of like not on the outside looking in. They've kind of had their big run as tag champs, and Strong and Dunne are like this new makeshift team that they seem to want to do something with. If they don't win, it's probably going to turn into a feud between the two over the UK Championship, but we'll see. But I'm going to pick them to win it. I could see it going... If they don't win it, then it'll probably be Undisputed Era retaining. And I guess you'd hate for Bobby Fish to lose the title when he's not there to defend it, but that's just kind of the situation we have going here. But yeah, and then after that, we have the 6-way ladder match to crown the first ever NXT North American Championship. Now, let me just talk about the North American Championship as a concept. Right now in NXT, you've got the NXT World Title, the main event belt. You've got the the WWE UK Championship, which is basically serving as a mid-card title right now. And then you got this belt, which is brand new. I don't feel like NXT's roster is big enough to support 3 singles championships, so I feel like they're spreading themselves a little bit thin here, and it's going to be hard to find like enough competition for all 3 belts. WCW did it back in the day. They also had over 100 guys on their roster, so they had enough guys and bodies to switch in and plug in and play with and do that type of stuff with. I don't feel like NXT has that same luxury, so I think this is a little bit overkill to be doing this match. I have seen a picture of the North American Championship belt. It is very old school looking. Like, looks like something out of the 70s or 80s. Like, it's like pre-winged eagle belt, like those type of belts. Like try to imagine like the old NWA belts or some of the old, like the first world WWF title that Hogan won. It looks like something cut from that cloth. It's very old school looking. I kind of like it, but yeah, so I'm not really in favor of having this championship though, for the reasons I just described. Also, it's a 6-way ladder match with no build-up. They just decided to do a 6-way ladder match. I'm like, okay, that's kind of not a fan of those because I've gotten so sick of the multi-man ladder matches. But NXT does them so infrequently. I don't think they've ever done one now that I think about it. As far as, I think the biggest multi-man ladder match they've ever done is the DIY Authors of Pain tag title match, and that's tag team. That's 2-on-2. But what I will say, the collection of talent in this match is very fascinating to me. You've got Killian Dane representing Sanity. You got Lars Sullivan. Change his name. Guys, who settled on that name? But anyway, Lars Sullivan. Adam Cole, baby! And you've got The Velveteen Dream, who I think is a hot young prospect on NXT, has quickly become one of my favorite people in NXT. And you also have two newcomers to NXT. Ricochet, who I'm a huge fan of based on his work in the Indies and New Japan and Ring of Honor, and his work as Prince Puma in Lucha Underground. So he's a huge pickup for them, and I think he could be great. Great addition to NXT or the Cruiserweight division or any roster you put him on. And you also have EC3, Ethan Carter III, a guy who has been one of the diamonds in the rough during the down years of Impact Wrestling. And they picked him up, and I saw him last week on NXT, and holy God, like, okay, he looks like he fits like a glove. He looks like a star. How WWE dropped him the first time, I don't understand, but he looks like a star. He looks like he came to play, and that theme song he has kicks ass. That is a great theme song. So, God, who gets the win here? I could see EC3 getting it. I could see Ricochet getting it. I could see Velveteen Dream getting it. I could see Adam Cole getting it. I mean, my God, they could give it to almost anybody in this thing. And I'd be okay with it. Like, there's a lot of different ways they could go. I'm going to pick Adam Cole, baby, to win the North American title. But like I said, it could just as easily go to Velveteen, Ricochet, or EC3. It could just as easily go to any of those guys. So, I'll pick Adam Cole, baby. But, like I said, that's a total guess on my part. It could just as easily go to anybody. Alrighty, and from there we've got the NXT Women's Championship. Ember Moon taking on Shayna Baszler, a rematch from the last TakeOver special. They had a good match at the last special. I expect this one to be slightly better because it's got a little bit more heat behind it. I'm going to pick Shayna Baszler to win. I think she's established herself as this rough, tough bitch heel that just injures and hurts people. I think they're going to want to run with that. I think it's good to run with that. I say give the belt to Shayna Baszler, and I think they're going to. Should be a good match as well, so I'm looking forward to it. Then for the NXT title, we've got Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega defending the NXT title against the undefeated. Another streak versus, title versus streak match. The undefeated Aleister Black, who is one of the coolest motherfuckers in NXT, so I'm glad to be seeing him in the NXT title spot. I've praised Andrade Cien Almas a lot. I did not like him when he first came on board. I was like, I don't see the appeal in this guy. I don't get it. He's not working for me. I'm just not seeing it. Turn him heel, give him a manager, he becomes great. He's been having stellar matches. He's been great as champion. There's talk that he's going to be moved up to the main roster, which, if true, seems to indicate that he's going to be dropping the belt here. Even if he wasn't going to the main roster, I would think that Aleister Black would win here. I think with the undefeated streak, I think Aleister just keep the train rolling. I say give him the belt, let him run as NXT champion, and just let him do some great work because he's been outstanding. I think he's a guy, I looked at him almost right away and was like, that dude's TV ready. Like, he's TV ready. Like, he's ready for the main roster now. And just great look, great presentation, great theme, great everything, great matches. He's just doing very great. So I say give him the NXT title, and it should be a really great match, I would think. But the real main event of the show, the match that I have waited almost a year for, the match that I have been willing to crawl across broken glass to see, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, the Psycho Killer. Johnny Wrestling, Psycho Killer, former members of DIY, former NXT Tag Champions. Ciampa turned on his partner, that cold, callous motherfucker. Then he cost him his career. He's become like the most hated heel in wrestling right now. I fucking hate Ciampa in a good way. And that good like kayfabe was like, oh, fuck that guy. I want Gargano to rip his face off. We are finally getting that match. WrestleMania weekend. It is happening. I am so stoked for this match. You have no idea. Because again, people ask me, what do I want out of pro wrestling? This is what I want. What I talked about with AJ Nakamura earlier, how that build-up doesn't have enough sizzle for me. It doesn't have enough intrigue. Doesn't have conflict. This has everything I want. This has a heel that I hate that cost Johnny everything. And I want to see him go down. They're having an unsanctioned fight. If Johnny wins, he gets his job back. If Tommaso wins, Johnny loses his job. But that's a little weak. It's like, oh, so you're just going to enforce the stipulation that you already had in place. Okay, that's not really, doesn't really change anything. But anyway, I'm really excited for this match. I'm actually, of all the matches happening this weekend and all the shows I'm going to be watching this weekend, this is the one I am most excited for. And that says a lot because there's a lot of stuff I'm super excited for this weekend. But that match, I was like, I am not missing that match. I can wait the next day to watch Supercard of Honor. I can wait the next day to watch Hall of Fame. I can wait to watch Impact and Lucha. WrestleMania, I could even, like, if something came up Sunday night, I could push that off to the next day and watch it. I am not missing Ciampa versus Gargano. I am not missing this fucking match. I think it's going to be outstanding. I think match of the year potential is all over this thing. The setup is great. The build-up has been beautiful. The characters are great. You have a strong heel, a strong babyface that I want to see beat him. All they got to do is deliver. And I can't wait for this match. I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be amazing. It's by far the match I'm most excited for this weekend. I'm expecting some really, really great stuff here. And hopefully I'm not setting my expectations too high. I just want to see the match. Because I just want, at the end of the day, I just want to see Johnny kick his ass. And that's what you want. That's ultimately what you want. So, really excited for this. I can't sing the praises for this match enough. I can't wait. I just can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be amazing. So that wraps up NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Should be a very interesting, very exciting show. Now let's go into the other big show that I plan on watching this weekend, Ring of Honor, who is drawing their largest crowd in history for this event, and good on them for that. That is, 16 years in business, and they're drawing their largest crowd ever, over 5,000, I think over 5,200 last I saw, and I'm like, that's awesome. Good. That's some good work. Ring of Honor has taken some great steps to establish themselves as more than just an indie fed and more than just a smart mark fed. I think they've, pushing things like Cody Rhodes has given them a lot and a lot more, closer to mainstream appeal than they would have otherwise. And their presentation and production has gotten a lot better. The weekly shows have gotten a lot better. I think they've just been doing really good work lately. I really enjoyed the 16th anniversary show, and I think this show, I'm looking at this card, it has potential to be, I think NXT TakeOver has potential to be the best show of the weekend. I think this one also has potential to be the best show of the weekend. So there's a lot of really good stuff on this card. So first of all, we have the Women of Honor tournament. So we're going to crown the first ever Women of Honor champion. The semifinals will be happening on the pre-show, so I assume there'll be dark matches or something. And the finals will be happening on the main card. So for the semifinals, we have Kelly Klein versus Mayu Iwatani and Tenille Dashwood, who you may know as WWE's Emma, or Emelina, for those of you who choose to remember that gimmick, unfortunately, versus Sumi Sakai. And the two winners will face off on the main card to crown the first ever Women of Honor champion. Now, if it were up to me, I would give it to Kelly Klein, who is an established... she's known in the Ring of Honor fan base. She's built up a bit of a rapport, a bit of a body of work for herself. She had that undefeated streak that she carried on for a while. She's also gorgeous. Just brunettes, man. I just fucking Miss Elizabeth, Ivory, Mickey James, fucking Kelly Klein. It's the brunettes. Sarah Logan, another one. I just gotta think brunettes. Anyway, I think Kelly Klein is gorgeous. I'm just saying. But anyway, I would pick Kelly Klein, who I think is a really talented worker and has worked really hard to be in this spot. Put her in the finals against Tenille Dashwood, who is the biggest name in the tournament, and people know who she is from her time in the WWE. So I think that would create the most intriguing match that they could do. And I think this has potential to be a really good match. If they do Kelly Klein versus, well, I mean, really, like the two, Iwatani and Sakai aren't bad talents. It's just as far as recognizability and rewarding the good workers, I think Klein and Dashwood would be the way to go. I would give it to Kelly Klein just because of the reputation she's built within Ring of Honor, even at this stage. She's the one I would go with. I could see them just as easily going with Emma to win it. Tenille Dashwood. That's a weird name, by the way. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to be pulling for Kelly Klein to win it, but again, it's just cool that Ring of Honor is finally getting a women's championship. I can't believe it took them this long, but, all this talk of, like, a women's revolution and whatever, it's like, God, you're a little slow to the game, guys. Like, and granted, they always had, like, great workers, like Sarah Del Rey, that they had on their roster. They just never gave them a championship for some weird reason, but, but now they're doing it and we're getting it, so that's cool. Whoop, don't drop your pen. Moving right along. We got all All right, then we've got a couple of Ring of Honor versus New Japan like singles matches to kind of fill out the undercard. We've got Tomohiro Ishii versus Punishment Martinez. That's going to be a cool match. That's going to be a hard-hitting match. I'm looking forward to that. I'll pick Ishii to win just because the New Japan guys always seem to go overs when they do these matches. And we also have Hangman Adam Page versus Kota Ibushi, a match that is going to be really good because Kota Ibushi's in it, and that dude makes everything he's a part of better. So I'll pick Ibushi to win that match as well for the same reason that I stated above. So those are two nice like undercard matches to kind of fill out the card. Then for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship, we have the Briscoes defending against Jay Lethal and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Interesting pairing. Lethal has never won the ROH tag title, so this is kind of his path to become like kind of a Ring of Honor Grand Slam champion in a way, win all the major titles. I'm going to pick the Briscoes to retain. I think this will be a good tag match. I think Tanahashi adds a lot of flavor to it, makes it a little bit more interesting than it would be otherwise. I just expect a good solid match here with the Briscoes going over. Then we've got for the Ring of Honor TV Championship, we've got Kenny King defending against Silas Young in a last man standing match. Now, the last time that Silas Young was in a last man standing match, it was against Jay Lethal, and they tore the house down. Granted, that was with Jay Lethal, but I thought that match was great, and here's hoping that Silas is able to do it again with Kenny King. Some people may have thought that they were going to do Austin Aries versus Kenny King. I did too, because they teased that Austin Aries in his collection of championships across multiple companies, he targeted the Ring of Honor Television Championship. It's like, oh man. That would have been a good match to have, but if we're not getting that, I think Silas versus Kenny last man standing is a good one to have. I'll pick Kenny King to retain just because that Aries Kenny King match is looming and is going to be happening down the road. So keep the belt on Kenny King. Otherwise, why even do the segment where Aries is chasing him specifically for the TV championship? And then for the Ring of Honor 6-Man Tag Team Championship, we got a ladder match. SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, and Scorpion Sky taking on Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, and their makeshift partner, Flip Gordon. It's going to be a ladder match. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a spot fest. Young Bucks excel in that type of scenario. Again, typically I'm down on multi-man ladder matches. I'll give this one credit, though, because it actually does have a story and build-up and a rivalry put into it. The Bucks and SoCal Uncensored have been working against each other for a while now, so it makes sense, at least from a storyline perspective, to do this match. Flip Gordon's a hell of a high flyer, so this match is going to be insane. This is going to be a wild spectacle of a match. I'm going to pick SoCal Uncensored to retain, only because I think the problems in the Bullet Club are going to keep the Young Bucks busy, and there's no reason for them to be the 6-man tag team champions. So I'm going to pick SoCal Uncensored to retain. All right, and then for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship, we have Dalton Castle taking on the villain Marty Scurll. I already praised Marty Scurll during my review of Sakura Genesis. I think he's terrific. I want him to win the belt. I'm not going to lie. And no knock on Dalton Castle. He had a really good match with Jay Lethal at the 16th anniversary. I thought he's done a little bit better as world champion than I would have expected of him. But I'm kind of like, to me, I just still kind of feel like he's holding the belt, just waiting to drop it. And I think, you know what? Marty Scurll is so awesome. Give him the Ring of Honor World title. I would be so down with the villain holding the Ring of Honor World Championship. I think that would be super, super awesome. And I'm pulling for Marty here. I think that would be great. So, yeah, and hopefully the match is really good. Marty's coming off some really strong matches. He's just had that amazing match with Ospreay a couple days ago. So, here's hoping he's able to have a really good match with Dalton as well. And here's hoping he wins the title. But the true main event of the show, the real highlight attraction, the main reason I want to go out of my way to see this show, Kenny Omega versus Cody. The Bullet Club Elite explodes. We've been waiting since January for this match. And this match, more so than wanting a great match out of it, the real intrigue for me is, where does the rest of the Bullet Club stand? Because we still don't really know yet. I mean, Hangman Adam Page tagged with Cody back at Sakura Genesis. The Bucks have been kind of on the fence of who they're going to side with. So there's this potential of, are they going to side with Kenny? Are they going to side with Cody? Are they going to split? Is this going to lead into All In later in the year? What's going to happen? This could be the start. This match could be the start of something really, really special among the Bullet Club. And we could probably get that NWO Hollywood versus NWO Wolfpack match that we never got. I mean, All In, the main event might be like a War Games match or something. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm super interested in seeing how this match plays out and how this match goes. I mean, Kenny Omega, what else can you say? The dude is incredible. He has been outstanding in almost everything he's been given. And Cody Rhodes, I mean, you look at the guy. He's just a star. He's a heel. He's everything you want a wrestling star to be. And what he's done for himself, I couldn't be prouder of Cody Rhodes. And, you know, just proving the WWE wrong every day. That's what Cody does. I'm going to pick Cody to go over because something's going to happen that puts a lot of heat on Cody and whoever aligns with him from the Bullet Club moving forward. And I think that that'll lead into All In later in the year, and they'll get a lot of stuff in between that'll be great. So there's a lot of intrigue surrounding this match, and I just want to see what the hell happens, because this could be a complete 3-ring circus. Whatever happens, I think it's going to be great, and this is the true main event of the show, and really the major selling point for me personally, from a storyline perspective. Absolutely. I want to see what happens here. And then the final show I'll be watching is Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground Friday night. This will be a show, like I said, it's going to be free on Impact Wrestling's Twitch app, so it's a nice little attraction to have, and it's like, for me personally, it's just cool to see the Lucha Underground guys participating in WrestleMania weekend. The show is free, again, so check it out. I mean, it'll be worth checking out just for that. I'm not expecting a stellar show here, or any, because there's not like any like storyline potential going on here. It's just you know, a bunch of matches that they're going to be doing for WrestleMania weekend, and giving us a bunch of matches we never thought we'd see, given the talents involved. So it's like, okay, I mean, that could be fun, if nothing else. There's a few things I'm hoping for. I hope Brian Cage gets on the card. I hope Matanza gets on the card. I hope Mil Muertes and Katrina get on the card, because it wouldn't really feel like Lucha Underground without them, especially without Matanza and Mil Muertes, especially Mil Muertes. I mean, he's got to be on the card. But I noticed on their schedule, there's a 2-hour pre-show right before the Lucha Impact show, so I don't know if they're just going to set up a bunch of matches last minute or what. So that'll be interesting. Right now, though, one other thing I'm hoping for, Scott Steiner is advertised for the show. I'm a gigantic mark for Scott Steiner. I want to see him interact with Mil Muertes and hit on Katrina and then call Mil Muertes a dead motherfucker or something like that. That's just all I want. That's what I want. I just want to see Scotty be Scotty. It doesn't have to be the greatest match in the world. I just want to see Steiner be Steiner. And that's it. But there are 5 matches currently announced for this show. Last time I checked, anyway. I'll just run down those real quick here. We've got Andrew Everett, DJ Z, and Desmond Xavier representing Impact Wrestling, taking on Drago, Aerostar, and King Cuerno. Oh, see, it's a bunch of guys I don't really care about all that much versus a bunch of guys I just marked out for because it's Lucha Underground. Although I am kind of like, but aren't all these Lucha Underground guys enemies? Like, Aerostar and Drago had a friendship that went south, and Drago and King Cuerno was one of the earliest feuds in Lucha Underground, so they don't like each other. So I don't know how closely they're going to be fitting the continuity of Lucha Underground here, but it'll be nice to see King Cuerno again, because Lucha Underground fans, we haven't seen him wrestle in a long time. Not the character King Cuerno, anyway. And I think this could be just, I expect this to be the opener. It could be a really fun opener, if nothing else. It's hard to make predictions on these matches, because it's like there's no storyline. It's just kind of like they're just going to decide. Like, they'll probably just flip coins and decide who goes over. So it really, there's no real reason to do a prediction here. Then we've got a Knockouts Championship match. Allie defending against Taya Valkyrie. They're getting the women on the show. That's fine. Like, it'll probably be an okay match, but nothing I'm super, super excited about it, aside from seeing Taya wrestle again, because I just really enjoy her work. Then for the Impact Tag titles, we got the Latin American Exchange taking on the, actually 2/3 of the current Trios champions, Killshot and the Mac. Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. It's amazing. I'm working out for all the Lucha people, and I'm not like the TNA people. I'm like, whatever. Like, this version of LAX, they kind of suck, so I'm like, But I get to see Killshot and the Mac. That's awesome. It's so cool. So, I wonder if Dante Fox will get involved. Help out his partners, or will he turn on Killshot? And, after what happened at the Hell of War match, I don't know. Again, I don't know how closely this is going to fit into the continuity of Lucha Underground, but this should be a good match, good, exciting match. Just hoping to see Killshot and the Mac do this stuff. That's all I want out of this. The only match that really does seem to have any kind of a storyline behind it is Eddie Edwards taking on Jeremiah Crane / Sami Callihan, whichever name you want to go by. A lot of these guys are actually with both Impact and Lucha, but, you know, given the incident with the baseball bat and, you know, Eddie Edwards getting his face crushed and the build-up they've been doing on that, this one actually does feel like there's some build-up into it. So, they're going to be having an I Quit match. So this I expect to be like a wild, hardcore match. Could be pretty good. Probably, so far what I'm seeing on this will probably be the best match on the show, but I guess we'll know more Friday night when we get closer to the actual event. But from there, we've got what is advertised as the main event. This is actually mixed the way it is. It'll be an Impact guy and a Lucha guy taking on an Impact guy and a Lucha guy. We've got the current Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion Austin Aries teaming up with Phoenix, taking on Austin Aries' opponent at the upcoming Impact Wrestling pay-per-view, Redemption, Alberto El Patron, #1 contender to the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight title, and Pentagon, the current Lucha Underground champion, at least current as of Season 3. I haven't read any spoilers for Season 4, so don't know how closely that's stuck, but that should be a fun main event, just fun tag. Again, I'm kind of expecting that show to be more of like a Coliseum video type of thing, where it's just a bunch of cool matches I wouldn't normally see. It'll just be fun, brisk, easy viewing, and that's kind of all I want out of it. I think the other shows like the NXT show and Ring of Honor and WrestleMania has more potential to provide like those satisfying like storyline payoffs, especially Ring of Honor and NXT. I think those two shows got some really, really intriguing stuff on there. But whew, I made it. I previewed all of WrestleMania weekend. Like I said, I'm going to try and find a link to the itinerary showing all the events that are happening this weekend and put it down there below in the description box so you all have that information at your disposal. But that is all I have for you now. Who made it? Got it in under 2 hours, too. I'm amazed with myself. But WrestleMania weekend looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. The next time you see me, well, I'll be doing a live stream on Saturday morning. I'll set up that event. Again, I'm going to shoot for 10 or 10:30 as a start time for that. And then the next time you see me after that, I'm going to do a review of all of those shows. So that video is going to be super long as well. But for right now, that is all I have for you. Thank you all for watching this absurdly long video of mine. I've got to change my ice pack. Like, my ice pack actually melted during the course of filming this thing, so we'll just put that thing off to the side. And that is all I got for you now. Again, hopefully you all enjoy WrestleMania weekend. Thank you all for watching my WrestleMania MVP LVP series. Thank you for watching this channel. Thank you for watching this absurdly long video. Again, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like, subscribe, hit the little bell in the corner so you get all the notifications when I post new videos. But I am done for tonight. I'm going to go straight to bed because I'm super fucking tired. But y'all have a good one. Y'all enjoy WrestleMania weekend, and I will see you all later.